The Bible. Should you read it? Why? When? How? Today on Up with Inspiration with a bonus. What's the one thing I could do if I did it and added it to my list? What's the one thing I could do every day, and if I did it, my life would get better? It was January 1975, and my life was starting to come apart. A lot of things were going wrong, and I didn't know exactly how to fix it. And I was really starting to get scared because life was really hard. And I decided to go see my old girlfriend just to get her advice because she was always good at that type of thing. I stopped in to see Susan, and I told her about my problems. And she says, "You know, Bob," she says, "I think that you need Jesus." And I said, "Well, I says, I am a Christian. I said, I go to church. I says, I'm a Catholic." She says, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a personal relationship with Jesus Christ." And she says, "I could take you to a Bible study. I go every Friday, and I'd be happy to take you." And I thought, well, it's going to be a chance to spend some more time with Susan. So I said, "Sure, Susan, let's do it." So the next Friday, we went to this Bible study, and we sang these songs and everything. And there must have been 30 to 40 people there, and then we broke up into these smaller groups. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to go with Susan. They said, no, the new people are going to go over here with Richard. And I thought, oh, great. Susan's not even going to be in my group. What am I doing here? But what happened is we started studying the book of Romans that night. And Richard particularly took an interest in all of us, particularly with me, as he saw that I was really starting to get interested in what we were reading about in Romans. And that led to what would become, well, the rest of my life, studying the Bible every single day. There's been some exceptions, but almost every day I've spent between 15 minutes to an hour just in a quiet time, starting my day to where I wanted to know what God had to speak to me. Because as you'll know from times past, I told you I was tired of telling God who He is. I wanted to find out what God said God is and what God had for me. Has it made me a better person? Well, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that when I've gone astray, it's helped me to face in to the reality of what I had to face into. I can only tell you this also, and that is that if you read the Bible every day and spend some time in quiet time, that is finding a space where you can be alone and just allow God to talk to you and for you to talk with Him, to share your heart, to let God share how He values you and what He would like to have as friendship and family with you, then your life will change, and it will change for the better. I can promise you that. So what is a quiet time? A quiet time is where you get alone with God. I like to do it in the morning. Most people do. When I first get up, I'll go get my coffee going, do what I have to do, and then come quietly sit down. I shut everything off, and I begin reading the Bible. And I don't read it quickly. What I do is I'll start with Psalms. I'll read a psalm or part of a psalm. Then I'll go to Proverbs and I'll read a proverb or two. Then I'll go to one book that I'm working on in the Old Testament as I'm going through the Bible. And I'll read that part of the Old Testament a little bit. Seldom more than a chapter. Usually a paragraph or two or one section. And then from there, I'll go to the New Testament and I'll read part of one of the Gospels perhaps. Like right now I'm working on Matthew. And then from there I'll go to an epistle, a letter by one of the apostles. And I'll read part of that letter to get instruction. Sometimes I'll read part of the book of Revelation as I'm going through the book of Revelation. So I'll pick like those 6 things to go through the Bible with: the Psalms, the Proverbs, the Old Testament, the New Testament, an epistle. And that gets me the balance. And God will talk to my heart every single day. And sometimes I'll go, Lord, I don't know if I'm strong enough to do that right now. And I'll just look out the window right here. I'll look out the window and I'll see the wind blowing, and I'll look up at the clouds, and usually within 24 hours the conviction will come into my heart as to how I have to change that part of my life. That's how I make the adjustments and the tweaks to where I can hopefully become a better person, a more useful person to do the will of God. So when should you read the Bible? How should you read it? Where should you read it? It really doesn't matter so much as long as you get into it and have yourself a good Bible. When I say a good Bible, get yourself a good study Bible. I use the Nelson Study Bible. It's been wonderful for me. I started off with the Revised Standard Version, the Revised Standard Bible that was given to me a little bit time after that Bible study that I went to. And as the years went on, I got another one because I wore the first one out. And then somebody who really cared for me sent me the New King James Version of the Bible done by the Nelson Study Group. And it was just absolutely wonderful. I've been using it ever since. It's been almost 20 years since I got that Bible, and I read it every day. So I would recommend that you try the Nelson Study Bible if you want to. There's a lot of good Bibles, but that's a great one. And there's a link below here where you can get that. It's important that you have a Bible that you feel comfortable with. The Nelson Study Bible in the New King James Version is an incredibly fantastic Bible. There's several good Bibles out there, quite a few actually. Go through and take a look. But I have the link right to that particular Nelson Bible in the Amazon link below. And that'll take you right to your account. As an Amazon affiliate, I earn from qualified purchases. So you may want to go to the Amazon link in the description below right now and order your Nelson Study Bible today. Well, 30 years had passed, and I found myself sitting at my desk thinking, boy, I would sure like to get my life more together. What is the one thing I could do if I did it that my life would get better? So I made a list, about 25 things, and then I compared number 4 with number 3, and if it was better, I'd move it up, and then I'd move them all up the list until eventually I had an importance list where the most important was at the top. And the thing that came out at top was that if I was to do something for my fitness and go to the gym every single day, 6 days a week, take 1 day off a week, then my life would definitely get better. I found myself getting in shape within a relatively short period of time. And not only that, as I felt comfortable in the gym, I'd meet different people, and I'd notice if they had certain parts of their body that was really coming along better than what mine was, and they seemed to be exceptional. Because I was there every day, I felt very comfortable with asking them a question. What are you doing for that part of your body? And they'd tell me. I'd test these things, and oftentimes they would work, sometimes they wouldn't. But if they did, I'd include it in my program. And over the years, everything started to get better and better and better. And the next thing I knew, I started entering different competitions, and I was back at the top. This time not as a power lifter or a weightlifter, but as an older person. I became a bodybuilder and made it all the way to representing the United States in Greece, and eventually winning a bronze medal on the world stage. So these are the types of things that can happen if you take care of your body. Stay tuned, because I'm going to share with you next week one product that will really make a difference in your life.